Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. And today I'm reviewing a film that's currently in theaters, but only for a short time. So the movie that I'm reviewing today is the 2025 film Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, directed and co-written by Scott Chambers. So to begin with, I was actually pleasantly surprised by this movie. It was a lot better than I was expecting it to be, and especially due to the fact that it looks like it has a lower budget, but what they had to work with, they used it well. So to begin with, here's the story for this one. We have a man called Peter Pan, and they don't ever expressly say whether or not the legend of Peter Pan actually exists in this world, or if this is the first kind of telling of it. But either way, there's definitely something wrong with this version of Peter Pan. He's a full grown man that seems to believe that he's also a child, but at the same time, he goes out and kidnaps other children and is willing to take out anyone that stops him from doing so. So, what he does from there is he brings the children back to his home and then makes promises of taking them to Neverland. Whether or not there is something there or whether or not this is all a lie, you'll find out as you watch the story. Now, they're also going the classic route of this story, as the main family involved in this is the Darlings, as we do in fact meet a Wendy, John, and even a Michael, who is one of the children that gets kidnapped. Additionally, if you keep an eye and ear out, you'll notice that there are some other characters from the mythos of Peter Pan that also get introduced in this story as well. So, this is an extremely dark, gory movie that has a very interesting plot, in my opinion, and also a great job of making this character incredibly creepy and always having you question whether or not is there some amount of fantasy to this or is this complete insanity. I really enjoyed the feel of this movie because it was so dark and gritty. Additionally, some of the acting performances were really good. Two of my personal favorites were Tinkerbell and Peter Pan himself. Now, here's something you may or may not be aware of, but this film is actually part of the same cinematic universe as Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey and Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. In fact, there are three more films in this cinematic universe that are coming out this year alone. In just a couple months, you have Bambi the Reckoning. Then, sometime in the middle of 2025, you have Pinocchio Unstrung. And finally, on Halloween of this year, they're releasing the Pooniverse Monsters Assembled, which will bring all of these movies together in one Avengers style film. Now, I don't know how many of you are in the same camp as me, where I am looking forward to each and every one of these films coming out. But just in case you're not, let me tell you about something real quick. If you weren't a fan of the Blood and Honey movies, I think you might still like this one if you're a fan of horror movies in general. So definitely give it a watch. It is currently in theaters, but for a very short time. And then I believe it will come out to some sort of streaming service after that. But if you get a chance, find it at one of your local theaters and do check it out. Me, on my scale, I'm going to give this film a 4 out of 5. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews. And if there's any other films you'd like me to do a review for, feel free to mention them in the comments. Also, feel free to let me know in the comments whether or not you are looking forward to the rest of the Pooniverse movies.